Freddy has some great Freddy performance moments here, but the blackboard is like, oh,
it's that cartoony thing we're talking about, but it's a cool visual. It really
but
looks
it's funny as fuck, you know. And then he goes, you know, with the one, like, and then he, nice hearing from you, Carlos. Yeah, it's fucking hilarious, but it's also mean spirited. That's what I like about that kill. It's really mean, man. The bit where, you know, he doesn't have his thing, and Freddy's behind him, you know, he's jumping up and down. That shit wouldn't fly today, man. People would be triggered. The deaf people committees would get in on it. Oh my God, you know.
What's your favorite scary movie?
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Get away from her, you bitch!
Hi, I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end.
This is my boomstick!
Swallow this.
Welcome back. Another episode of the Arrow in the Head Show. I'm Lance. Therefore, you must be John, the Arrow Fallon. John, I ask you this all the time because I care. How are you doing?
You don't care about me.
No, but I'm being polite.
Okay. I'm great, man. I'm great. Life's just never stopping. I just came back from a shoot as an actor, actually, in a Western called Taken from Rio Bravo. Play a money-grubbing alcoholic undertaker. So basically, I play myself again. And now I'm back. I've landed. I'm home. So I'm happy to be home. What about you, my man?
It's good. Same. Nothing too crazy.
Yeah, I like the t-shirt, by the way.
Yeah, man. My favorite one, number 3.
I got Cobra.
Nice. Cutting pizza with the scissors. I'll always remember.
And the gloves.
Glasses, got the toothpick. Yeah, man. It should have been. That should have been. Even if it was a long franchise, it should have been a sequel.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, come on. If Beverly Hills Cop can have 3 movies, and I think there's another one on the way too, right? Netflix one.
Supposedly.
Eddie Murphy, I think. Yeah. Then Cobra should at least have 1 sequel.
Yeah, the heyday of the schlocky, cheesy 80s stuff. I love that.
Yeah,
you know?
The one-man army, macho, which I love.
Bad for your health, you know.
What is pinche?
Me.
The most important part, of course, is, as you know, this is a bar-themed show. What are you drinking?
A mega pint.
Isn't happy hour anytime?
Well, I'm going light from now on. I've been kind of overdoing it, to be honest. So I'm going with a Jack and Coke, 4.8% alcohol.
Oh, kind of low.
I didn't notice that before. Yeah, that's pretty low.
Yeah. Drink like 4 of those. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a pre-made drink. I think it's like for the beach, you know?
Yeah. Well, my life's a beach, so I'm going that way. What about you? I'm sure it's some weird concoction.
I didn't go to the liquor store, but I make this big alcoholic punch for Joe Bob Briggs every Friday. So I got a little bit of rum punch that I made. So
rum punch. All right. Well, cheers, my friend.
Cheers. And everybody else at home, if you're drinking.
Hello, my friend!
Let's have a good time. Freddy's Dead, the final nightmare. People, I think, hated this movie when it came out. I personally hated the living shit out of it.
I remember your review, actually.
Yeah, it was not nice. I remember sitting in the theater, you know, the film opens, the house is tumbling down, and Freddy comes on a broomstick and said, "I'll get you, my pretty, and your little soul too." And he's wearing like a witch hat. And right there, I'm like, what is this shit, man? This is way too much already. It just started. So yeah, it rubbed me the wrong way out the gate. Didn't get better. But with time, there are some things I appreciate about it. Yeah.
Well, let's give the synopsis for, I think, the one person that has ever seen it, because it is definitely the strangest one. Dream-haunting Freddy Krueger returns once again to prowl the nightmare of Springwood's last surviving teenager, and of a woman whose personal connection to Krueger may mean his doom. By the sounds of that synopsis, sounds like this would be a kind of a cool, dark entry, and not the cartoon that it ends up being.
You know, I grew up a huge Mickey Rourke fan. So, you know, Mickey Rourke, like Poco Greenwich Village, 9.5 Weeks, Year of the Dragon.
Barfly.
Yeah, even fucking Harley Davidson and Marlboro Man.
Oh, yeah, with
John Johnson.
Yeah.
Then Mickey kind of like left cinema for a while, and then he came back, in a movie called Double Team with Jean-Claude Van Damme and
Dennis Rodman.
Dennis
Dennis
Rodman.
Rodman,
The
yeah.
colors, yeah. And you
Ooh.
first see Mickey, he's like on a Ferris wheel. The Ferris wheel is going and and I remember watching the movie and I yelled out at the screen, I'm like, Mickey, what the fuck are you doing, man? This is not the Mickey Rourke I know, who's a fucking master thespian. What are you doing on a Ferris wheel with a fucking machine gun? And it's the same thing, Freddy. You know, part 1, part 2, part 3, yeah, he's cracking jokes still. Part 4, cracking more jokes still. Then, you know, 5, but 6, I was like, he's on a fucking broomstick out the gate. Oh man, come on, guys. They're really going that way? And they went that way. After 4, Freddy kind of peaked in terms of being funny. And they tried to make him a bit scarier, darker with 5, which, you know, was hit and miss. But I appreciated they were trying to make him darker again and scarier again. And then part 6, they said, yeah, no, fuck that. That's out the window. And they went full on goofball. And that was a huge turnoff for me at the time.
Can I ask you, because a lot of times when we talk, you see a lot of these entries in theaters. Obviously I'm a bit younger, so I saw a lot of VHS. Was this wasn't the first one you saw in theaters, or was it?
I saw 5 and 6 in theater. I tried 4 in the theater, but they wouldn't let me in.
Come to see the show.
I was too young.
Well, this came out not too long after 5, because I know 5 came out not too long after 4. So I mean, these were cranked out pretty quickly.
5 came out under a year since 4 got released. So they really, you know, pumped it out. And I'm sure you guys, you know, that are listening, and maybe you too, if you've seen the Never Sleep Again documentary, like 3-hour-long documentary about the entire franchise. Awesome documentary, by the way, highly recommend it. But the insight in part 5 kind of floored me, like how they even made that movie, the amount of shit they had to do in such a small amount of time.
And I learned some stuff about this movie, Freddy's Dead, from that as well.
I'm sure you know that the first pass at the script was Peter Jackson. He wrote a draft, which was interesting, where Freddy was depleted and kids would get hammered and go to sleep on purpose to go in Dream World and kick his ass. And then eventually he finds a way to, you know, recharge himself and comes back and, you know, turns the table around. And I think, was it that script that had a Dream Police where the Dream Warriors came back? They passed on Jackson and went to another script, and the gentleman's name escapes me, the Dream Police. But then Rachel Talalay, the director of Freddy's Dead, didn't like that script. So they got Michael DeLuca, who came in and wrote basically what we saw.
Think of the work Jackson was doing at the time, you know, Bad Taste, Dead Alive. Obviously after, I think it was 95, 96, was The Frighteners. And that was a kind of great mix of like dark comedy and horror. I guess in the end of the day, that solidified his connection to New Line, which gave us Lord of the Rings and made him, you know, a billionaire that will, you know, get to hang out forever.
Peter, can I borrow some money?
Hey, I'll give it this, man. I'm not the biggest Lord of the Rings fan, but I've been to New Zealand twice because that movie was so beautiful. So, you know, well done. Well done.
Yeah.
I always refer to something called the Bowie effect, just because like I'm a fan, but we could call it the catalog effect. And what I mean by that is that when you have an entire catalog of something that kind of changes sporadically, you know, there's not as much disappointment or emotion. So I lived through these movies, meaning that like I could see why this would piss people off. And I would actually say this is one of the few times where it's warranted, especially if every year you like went to see Freddy and it got this goofy. But for me, I think the chances of me watching Freddy's Dead the same day as Freddy 5 for the first time ever is very likely. So I was like, oh, and I kind of moved on.
I'm like, I'm fucked. I'm fucked because this is not the Freddy that I came to see. It's like Looney Tunes meets John Waters. That's what it feels like to me. But I guess that's my point. I've always hated the film, and my hate for it blinded me in terms of seeing the good things. And there are some really good things I feel in the picture. A lot of the visuals are really appealing. The whole house gag, the house falling.
He wants to keep leaving the room.
Yeah. That was pretty funny and well done as well. Visually, the effects I thought weren't that bad, you know, and some cool kills. Well, actually, not a lot of people died. 3 people died in this one, just like in Dream Child. Only 3 people died. Yeah, so there's some good shit, but the balance is totally off. It's funny because we did Shocker last time, and it's a bit similar. The film tackles some disturbing shit, you know, when you flash back to Freddy when he's beating the mom, yeah. And the little girl comes, Daddy, what are you doing to mommy or some shit like that? And he's like, he just looks and drops the palm like a rag doll. It's all right, mommy was
Snooping in Daddy's special work.
That's disturbing. The girl, Leslie Dean, her character, her dream sequence.
Oh, yeah.
Her dad,
Creepy looking guy too.
creepy. Like I guess the casting was, let's find the ugliest man we could find.
Mustache.
He's got to be overweight. He's got to look like he hasn't taken a fucking shower in a million years. That's the casting notice for the dad, And
Oh, well, I guess the white beater and all.
It gave me the shivers back then. He goes behind her, Come on.
Give Daddy some honey.
That's disturbing.
Give Daddy some honey.
But then you got these flying sperms talking to Freddy, Hey, Freddy, you want this? Yeah, I want it all. Yeah, what's going on here, man?
I believe Talalay said in an interview that she was influenced by that sort of bizarre humor from Twin Peaks at the time, which is interesting because I
don't see it.
I don't see. Yeah, I mean, it's more Looney Tunes. It's more.
Yeah.
I always said this is like Freddy meets Ren and Stimpy, but not necessarily unseen. These were getting goofier and goofier. I think 5 had a darker subject matter, but Freddy was still, Super Freddy in the black and white. It was still kind of goofy. This though was that step where I kind of, now that I'm older, kind of look at it like where number 4 is Bride of Chucky, where like it walks that line really well, being kind of like a rock and roll. And then Seed of Chucky is like this, where it's like, okay, but you went too far. You didn't realize you had it, and now you let it go.
Yeah, you hit the sweet spot,
Yeah.
but now you went a little overboard. I think the film would have been more powerful, especially it was supposed to be really like legit the last Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't know if you knew this. They did a mock funeral where all of the cast members and stuff showed up, a coffin with the sweater. Yeah. So it really was supposed to be the last one. I'm very happy that it wasn't, that we had Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which for me redeemed Freddy. Because can you imagine if they would have left it on that?
I think this is the reason we have New Nightmare. I mean, I know supposedly Robert Shea tried to make amends because he owed Wes Craven money and royalties and back end stuff. This did well. I know it did well. I don't think it did well critically, but I think Wes Craven probably wouldn't have came back if this didn't end on such a goofy note. I truly believe that. I mean, I obviously will never know, but one of my favorite entries is New Nightmare. I'm in that weird spot in life where any anger I had about this is gone. Like, I think it has a lot of issues, but at the same time, it at least has a vision, whether I think it's not the vision I think it should have been. Definitely. It's unique. At least it's weird. And I think maybe I could see a little of the Twin Peaks in terms of like the town. An aspect that I really like about this movie, which I almost wish they focus on more and less cartoony, was the fact that when it's set in 1999, there's a time jump. Yeah. Well, it starts off in time jump. So it starts in the future because it came out in 91, right? The town of Springwood, there's no more kids left, and every adult is crazy. There's the school teachers teaching lessons on Freddy alone in the classroom. There's that cool, really schlocky town fair with like 4 people in it. And I like the idea that it seems like, though it's not confirmed per se, that people can't leave the town. Unless Freddy lets you leave. Like once you get in there, it's like a Twilight Zone. The van gets in there, they can't leave. And so I think that's a cool concept. I'll give credit. Like, okay, what if Freddy kills every single kid? People aren't having kids or can't anymore, and they're just stuck in this hellhole that's essentially almost like a weird post-apocalyptic land where people are just crazy. Like that's a movie I like. That's a cool concept, man. Like, let's run with that. But it exists. So I always think in a vacuum, looking at a movie like this, I could appreciate the fact that I got such a bizarre cartoony entry because it would never, ever, ever, ever happen again. We would get that stale, polished corporate, like the remake, which Jackie Earle Haley, I think, actually did a good job. I think the movie sucks.
No, he did fine. But...
Yeah, the movie to me is kind of what I'd expect going forward for the rest of time. There is no unique vision. And that's the thing about Talallay's movie, which at least we got something unique and weird, whether it worked or not, because that kind of shit ain't happened again. I think in my, I did a Black Sheep video in this. I remember kind of using Road to Nowhere by the Talking Heads, and I said,
it was on a road to nowhere, but there's no other road I'd rather be on. Go big or go home. I'd rather you fail with heart than succeed with mediocrity.
Still had the heart of independent filmmaking.
Yeah, there's a little punk rock to it. Yeah.
So especially, and you're absolutely right. All of them are pretty much auteur. I hate to be pretentious. Actually, I don't. It's pretty much auteur pieces, from Wes Craven's movie to Jack Shoulders to Chuck Russells, to
Yeah.
Rennie Arlins, to Stephen Hopkins, and to Rachel Talalay. The director has put their stamp on it.
But no two feel the same. Even if they continue after, you're right. Everyone has a very distinct tone and feel.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome. That's kind of stuff that you don't get.
Part 6, for all the things I hate about it, does have its own flavor. And, Rachel Talalay made the movie that she wanted to make. Good on her. And, a lot of things I do appreciate. Carlos Kilsing with the Q-tip.
And the air. Yeah, is this your favorite kill, right?
Yeah, that's my favorite kill. It's actually Robert Englund's favorite kill in the entire franchise, by the way. All of it from
The blackboard.
Yeah, the blackboard. Fucking. That's another thing. Freddy has some great Freddy performance moments here, but the blackboard is like, oh.
It's that cartoony thing we're talking about, but it's a cool visual. It really
But
looks
it's funny as fuck, and then he goes, with the one, and then he, nice hearing from you, Carlos. It's fucking hilarious, but it's also mean-spirited. That's what I like about that kill. It's really mean, man.
He drops like the one pin.
Oh, the one pin. Dude, it's a big scene, actually, because we keep talking about it. The bit where, he doesn't have his thing, and Freddy's behind him, He's jumping up and down. That shit wouldn't fly today, man. People would be triggered. The deaf people committees would get in on it. Oh, my God,
It's an innocent joke. It's supposed to be funny. Yeah.
Joke. Who gives a shit?
I think we're both on the same page.
There's some funny shit.
Like he's running in the background. Like you're right. He's messing with the guy. It's like, okay, yeah.
But then, for every bit like that, you have bits that just don't work. Like for me, for example, when the little girl, when they do the reveal, that Lisa Zane is the little girl with the pigtails.
She has like the outfit on.
So you have the little girl, and the little girl turns around. They do like some kind of camera trick, and then boom, it's Lisa Zane with pigtails and the dress. It looks stupid. I thought it was cheesy as fuck. It looks stupid. He's like, well, but I won't tell. Oh, you did tell, or some shit. Their whole repartee, I thought, was cringe-inducing, and Freddy kind of reduced to being a bitch.
Now it's kind of cheesy. Yeah, he does like a cartwheel kick, and I was like, oh man,
what's going on?
It's bad. It's bad. Yeah. Well, I guess if we want to talk about the ending, the last movie ever, they fight, but it's not even a real fight. It's more just like they wrestle a little. She bites his nose, breaks his fingers, and then throws like a throwing star and blows him up. I mean, even in that documentary, Never Sleep Again, they even admitted, they're like, well, I think the ending of Dream Wars or even part 4 is a more authentic ending to Freddy. Yeah, this it's lame.
Kids.
I do like where they go into the dreams. I like the 3D part. I think it has a cool visual look, but it's...
Yeah, you mean like when they go in his brain? And
you see little flashes and shit.
Yeah, that was cool. Like, it reminded me of Tim Burton.
I could see that. I could see that.
Brain, which was cool. And like some of the memories were good,
Yeah, kills a hamster.
Kills a hamster. That's disturbing. What wasn't disturbing is when they try to burn him and then these giant sperms come around him and say,
we know what you want. I want it all! Of course you do.
Then open up.
And you shall be forever.
The 90s was a really bizarre time where everybody needed an explanation of their killers from the 80s. Michael Myers had the Thorn Cult and Curse of Michael Myers. Next Generation, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The family's actually working for the government. They're working for
Illuminati.
Illuminati, but supposedly like it's all tied in, and they're doing Pleasure for Pain, Martyrs style. Yeah. And Freddy is sperm demons.
Sperm ghost demons.
Yeah.
Of course, Yaphet Kotto has a picture of him. Of course, he's a dream shrink. Of course, he has a picture of him on the wall.
I was just saying, I want Yaphet Kotto more than this movie. If anything, like I want to follow him. It really should have been about Yaphet Kotto and Lisa Zane. At least those, I think, were like the best actors in the movie. And where they're relegated to the back, where we're following like 40-year-old guys and girls playing teens. It's like, I know it's the time, and we still do that now, but a big fan of Live and Let Die. And I saw that because I grew up on the Morbons, and I was like, good. Let's get more of this guy. And then no, it's not it.
No, we didn't have enough of him. Having said all this, for me, the worst element in this movie, and I kind of feel bad because I actually like the actress, so I don't really blame the actress. I think it's the writing and the directing, the way she was directed. But Leslie Dean's character, Leslie Dean, who was in 976 Evil, she was in a Freddy's Nightmare episode, kind of looked like a young Jodie Foster a little bit. she was just always fucking angry all the time. It was really annoying, man. I get it. She got issues. I get it. You know, all the kids in there had issues. Kincaid had issues, but he wasn't angry all the fucking 24/7. Not everything that came out of his mouth was one tone. Everything that comes out of her mouth in that movie is given with one energy, angry.
Are you listening? Don't scream at me.
Put that fucking thing out.
Your family's a picnic, rich boy. I'm not turning myself over for any adult supervision.
And I found that really hard for me to empathize with the character. Although, you know, when they showed the fat daddy scene, you know, and give me some honey.
Well, she beats him with the toaster and his face is all.
No honey for daddy? Or some shit like that. His face all fucked up.
That was good.
Yeah, I kind of like, okay, I get it why she's pissed off all the time. You know, I don't know, I find it an icky scene, but still, doesn't make it fucking entertaining.
In the 90s.
So basically, there's no reason why she was still alive. Why is the annoying person, the person that won't stop being mean to everybody and rude, lives at the end? That makes no sense to me.
I don't know, man. I would actually argue that I think almost all the teens besides Carlos, because he was kind of charming, everybody annoyed me. Like John Doe, again, as a character, he was just angry and it's like, I don't know, I'm confused. I'm like, for the entire time. And then the mean girl was upset. And then the Breckenmeyer guy, he was just a hippie. I mean, these movies aren't usually well thought out characters in terms of the teens. I'll admit that. But I'm with you. This was, to me, the most poorly written, or at least poorly developed. I didn't like anybody except for Lisa Zane and Yavakoto. In a movie like this, if they're going to get killed, then it's like, oh, who cares? But exactly. I mean, for the most part. So,
I didn't mind the Breckenmeyer's character, the stoner guy.
He's fine, but he was one note as well.
Yeah, he's a stoner, isn't it? You remember that scene where I think it's John Doe has Tracy, right? That's her name, right? She punches the guy, you know, and then boom, he goes into dreamland.
He hands her a fucking giant piece of wood, like something that could kill you. It's like,
and she lays him out, and then she comes in the dream, boom, meditation or something.
She's like, she found an easier way. Yeah.
Dude, come on, man. That chick is the last motherfucker doing meditation. Yeah, I ain't buying what you're saying. You're trying to sell me on this, but I ain't buying it, dude. Where was that meditation throughout the entire movie, man? Chill the fuck out.
Shut the fuck up, man.
I always find that funny, the missing scenes in movies. One of the best examples, I'm totally going in a different direction, but Spectre, at the end of Spectre, James Bond winds up at like some house, and there's pictures and arrows pointing, go this way, go that way, and newspaper clippings and stuff like that, you know, and he goes there and it's a trap, you know, obviously. So that means Blofeld, and he painted these arrows for James Bond, and he thumbtacked those fucking things up. Like he spent half the day, you know, doing this shit.
It's like arts and crafts, yeah.
You know, the missing scene. So the meditation is perfect.
It is, it is what it is. We get this. I mean, this movie though has a cameo from Roseanne and Tom Arnold. What other Freddy Krueger movie has that? You know, I cannot look at Tom Arnold without thinking of the Sam Kinison bit. I don't know if we ever talked about this, but Sam Kinison's talking about homelessness in America and how, like, people in other countries wish they could be homeless in America.
If you're going to be homeless in America. Didn't always work. I fucked somebody sometimes that had a job, a waitress, to take care of me. You think Tom Arnold wakes up every day with a big heart on? No. He looks at her pussy in his shoes, and he goes, my shoes are a tighter fit. But at least I'm not homeless.
This bizarre choice, and that to me, I think, is that John Waters choice, where it's like they're dressed ugly, they look trashy. It's such a bizarre move for the film, but part of me that could look at this in a vacuum, I kind of like it. Man, they went for it, breaking rules, people entering each other's dreams. Tom Arnold for the sake of Tom Arnold, Johnny Depp in a drug PSA. I mean, it's like okay. But what did you think of the makeup here? Because I would actually probably say it's my least favorite outside of 5.
Favorite. In terms of the Freddy makeup?
Yeah, the look, because they always change. Yeah,
no.
I figured as much, but
Freddy himself, I don't know. There's an edge missing.
Yeah.
I like
shit.
Expression. Yeah. He still had edge in like part 4. We all think about part 4, the jokey Freddy. It is, but he still had edge when he shows up in class and he goes to the chick that's dreaming, and he goes, blah, 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 with his finger claws, and he's like, want to suck some face? He's deviant. For me, he's still fucking creepy. In part 4, he has moments he's creepy. Of course, he's sunglasses on the beach, and he's jaws.
That's cool.
But he still has moments. He's a dirty old man and he likes to fucking kill kids. Part 5, when he kills Greta and he turns to the camera, he looks like fucking Chef Boyardee, you know? Bon appetit, bitch. He's always gotta slip in that a bitch or be an asshole, yeah?
He's more PG in this one.
There's no edge in part 6. How about that? I don't find he has any menace whatsoever. And then at the end, when, you know, the whole thing with Lisa Zane, and it's kind of a pathetic battle.
Oh,
really. If memory serves me right, Rachel Talalay was sick, and somebody else had directed the final quote unquote battle, and it shows. The coverage is poor, and
blocking's weird.
The editing's weird, ninja stars and shit, whatever the fuck.
I personally like this more than 2, even though I think 2 is a far better movie. But this, at least, I could put in the background, and it's kind of, you know, it's more of a visually interesting movie.
I love 2.
2's my favorite look. I'll at least throw that out there before you dive more. His look is amazing.
Your favorite Freddy look?
Yeah, sunken eyes, the defined brow bone. Yeah. Well, I like all of them. So when I say it's my least favorite, I would still like. There's no bad Freddy, because even at its worst, it's a visually entertaining, fun movie. You know, like they're not bad.
It is, for me, anyways. Freddy at his worst. Yeah, and it's still entertaining. It's the one I've seen the less. Although part 5 don't, you know, I rewatched part 5 before I rewatched part 6. Don't ever watch the R-rated version, ever. To watch part 5 is the unrated version. And I learned that the hard way, because they only had on TV, they only had the fucking rated version, or Amazon Prime, I'm not sure.
Yeah, the bike is really cool in the unrated version.
Yeah, the bike scene is awesome, man.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's mean, like you said, there's an edge to it, for sure.
Yeah, not in this one. But thankfully, you know, that was in the end of Freddy, and they brought him back in Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which is actually a movie we should probably tackle.
I love it. I
love the movie, but I have some issues with it. But
yeah, I'd love to tackle it. It's one of my favorites. Freddy's Dead is New Nightmare. That's the best ending they could have done. It comes full circle. I think, you know, we're lucky we got it. We're lucky because if Freddy's Dead didn't do well, the chances of New Nightmare existing would be, you know, little to none. Yeah. I guess if there's nothing left to say, we'll just end with recommendations. I know we don't always do it, but I figured why not? You know?
Yeah, no, I'm in the mood. Something Elm Street-ish.
Yeah, what do you got?
Bad Dreams, actually. Remember Bad Dreams? With, ironically enough, they cast
the girl for number 3.
Rubin. Yeah. All right. It's very reminiscent of part 3, Nightmare on Elm Street 3. You know, people in institution. She's having dreams. People are dying. The cult leader is played by a great character actor.
I was thinking of him he's Trancers 2. He's a bad guy in Trancers 2. Yeah, he was burned in real life, which is funny because in this movie you're talking about, the cult leader gets burned to death. Yeah.
Yeah, Lynch. Isn't his last name Lynch? Richard Lynch?
I'm so bad at names.
Richard Lynch.
You know, I have to look shit up. I know that the doctor is literally the good guy doctor from Reanimator, and I don't know his name either. Yeah, I'm bad at names, dude. Yeah. Ever since I turned past my 30s, I just became an old man. Yeah.
What's your name?
I have a few of them. It depends.
I recommend it's not a great movie by any means, but it's a good movie and well directed, engaging, very Elm Street-ish. What about you? You got one?
I defended a movie recently that I really like. It's kind of the same vibe. It's early 90s. It's technology based, but it has that kind of weird dream thing. Brain Scan with Edward Furlong. I can't think of the actor's name that plays Trickster, but it was almost kind of like a Freddy Krueger-esque character that comes out of the video game. Yeah, humanoid looking, and he's kind of witty and rock and roll. It to me was very influenced Freddy 4, but in a different way. I don't want to say too much about it if you've never seen it, but I would say it's about a video game that puts you into perspective of a first-person killer. Only in the movie, the twist is that it actually makes you kill people, and so to finish the game, you got to cover up the murder you actually did. And it's a cool little back and forth. I like Furlong. I like the style. Just a cool, dark, well-executed little horror thriller, man.
It was actually shot in Canada at where I went to everything shot in Canada, where I went to college, John Abbott College, and they shot it there at that college.
What part of Canada is that?
It's Montreal, so Quebec, yeah. And in terms of next show, we try to announce what we're going to talk about at the end, but right now we don't know. So I want to try something new. You guys toss some suggestions. What movie would you like our sorry asses to take shots at?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you guys are watching, you care to comment, I'd be curious. Yeah, I'm an open book. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
All right, guys.
All right. Well, John, until next time, you stay safe.
I will. I'll stay safe, and you stay drunk. Later, bro. Bye, guys.